57 days since President Biden took office, and no press conference yet. He is studying hard for his big scheduled press conference in 8 days, though. We'll keep you posted. Here he is today after meeting with the Irish Prime Minister on St. Patrick's Day. Quiet as reporters shouted questions to him. He's got the green on, though. He's beat me there. Biden tried to make up for his lack of transparency with a softball interview with ABC's George Stephanopoulos, who's a big-time Democrat, of course. President Clinton's former chief of staff tried to hype up Biden as much as possible on the show, make him sound energetic and ready to go. And then he made it about as easy as he could on the president in the interview. Stephanopoulos asked about New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo and his sexual harassment scandal.
You've said you want the investigation to continue. You saw Chuck Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, majority of the congressional delegation don't think he can be an effective governor right now. Can he serve effectively?
That's a judgment for them to make about their state where they can be effective.
He couldn't have made this any easier if he tried. It was truly remarkable. Stephanopoulos allows Biden to speak on allegations, sexual allegations, against Andrew Cuomo, and never once brought up Tara Reade and a credible accusation of sexual assault against Joe Biden. It's unbelievable. No questions about Biden's history of awkwardly touching women like former Defense Secretary Ash Carter's wife back in 2015. You remember that one. Here's how CNN covered that incident that day.
He waved his wife over and a little hands-on treatment from the vice president.
A lot of things.
Oh, my God.
First and foremost, to my God.
It's, I guess it all depends on your generation and your view of Joe Biden. But at one point, if you watch her eyes, she looks like she wishes she could say, you know, Scotty, beam me up.
You think a Republican gets that kind of a deal? You think a Republican gets those kinds of questions from Stephanopoulos? A Republican accused of sexual assault? You think he just, let's not talk about that. Even though we're going to talk about somebody else's sexual harassment, we're not going to talk about your sex stuff. It's unbelievable. Stephanopoulos should just apply to be Biden's press secretary at this point. Let's quit pretending. We all know why George Stephanopoulos got this interview. Biden needed a little batting practice for next week. I'm sure the press team told George, do us a favor. No hard questions. And George probably wasn't going to ask him one anyways. So Biden did make some news today, though. Most importantly, he does intend to raise taxes. Take a listen.
You're going to be raising those taxes.
Yes, anybody making more than $400,000 will see a small to a significant tax increase.
But we learned today that Biden flubbed that line. Democrats intend to raise taxes on households making $400,000. Big difference from individuals making that much. In a suburb of New York City or Los Angeles or Chicago, San Francisco, a household making $400K, a mom and a dad each making $200,000, paying the insane taxes of these cities, raising 3 kids, probably got to send them to private school because the schools are awful. That ain't rich. It's not rich at all. And they want to take more of your money. Here's a look at the Biden-Harris tax plan according to the nonpartisan think tank, the Tax Foundation, which analyzed Biden's 2 main tax proposals back in October last year, taxing the rich and raising the corporate tax rate. The report said 2 of the policies proposed by the Biden-Harris campaign could result in direct tax increases on those earning less than $400,000. As we see, we're looking at $200,000 right now. The corporate tax falls partly on workers in the form of lower pay. Makes sense, doesn't it? For people out there begging to see those evil corporations pay higher taxes, well, those corporations are there for a reason. They're smart. They tend to pass that burden on to their employees. They're not just going to eat that. They fire people, and they pay everybody else less money if you jack up their taxes back to 7% higher, 28% like they were before Trump. Another potential component that was discussed by the Biden team as recently as January could hit your nest egg. Quote, the Biden-Harris campaign plans to eliminate deductible traditional contributions for 401ks, would reduce the tax benefit of traditional retirement accounts for those earning more than $80,000 a year. So now they're going after people making $80,000 a year. That's not rich. That is not rich. The Democrats have certainly evolved from tax the rich. Earning above $80,000 or $200,000, these people aren't rich. Democrats want more from anyone who's simply doing okay at this point. They want to tax everybody. As far as immigration and this disaster that the White House has created or decided to create on the southern border, Biden finally addressed the elephant in the room, the one Republicans, of course, have been talking about for weeks, immigration. And it's incredible to see the president somehow try to admit that he didn't see this coming. Take a listen.
Yes, I can say quite clearly, don't come. And what we're in the process of getting set up, and it's not going to take a whole long time, is to be able to apply for asylum in place. So don't leave your town or city or community.
So much naivety. I mean, they just don't get it. This would presuppose, what he's saying, that most of these people are actually looking for asylum. They're not. The vast majority of these people, are looking for a better paying job and a life in a nicer country. That is not asylum. Yet we are wasting money now and energy setting up asylum offices in the Northern Triangle countries. As for the White House's claim that they inherited this disaster from Trump, here's why this problem really exists. Because the man who said this next statement was elected president 5 months ago.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
You should come. That got out to everybody. And then in early November, he won the presidency. And that's when the heavy migration started forming. That is an invitation. I don't care what they say. If you got a half a brain, that's an invitation. Incredibly, the administration is still trying to hold the line on their ridiculous narrative that this is Trump's fault. And it's such a lie, and it's so embarrassing every time they say it. Listen to DHS Secretary Mayorkas respond to this question from Congressman Jake LaTurner today.
Do you think it's a reflection of the rhetoric of President Biden and the policies that he's implemented since coming into office? Do you think that has had an impact on the increase?
I do not.
I do not. Isn't politics fun? To anybody sitting at the White House still saying that this is not their fault, wise up. Come on. We're not that stupid. I know you think we are, but we're just not that stupid. Today, Democrats continued pandering to the far left flank of their party. Congressman Steve Scalise tweeted out this: House Democrats just voted against requiring COVID tests for illegal immigrants crossing the southern border, but they still want your businesses locked down and your schools closed. Their double standards are disgraceful. And I couldn't agree more. What a joke.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.